everyone. Welcome once again to our Thursday evening training. I hope wherever you are, this finds you well and ready to join us for the next 1 hour talking about our products as well as our business. For those who are joining us for the first few times, let me introduce myself. My name is Betty Oloo, a Neolife distributor and director of many years, and I'm always pleased to have this opportunity to share about our products and how we can position ourselves in order to help those who come to us in need of assistance from our products or from our business opportunity. So wherever you are, whether you are here on our continent of Africa or further afield, I want to invite you to take the next 1 hour, relax, and join us as we go through the topic for today, which you might have seen is gut health. First of all, just to introduce this, the term gut has been of late quite commonly used, but for those of us who went to school in previous years, we used to call it the alimentary canal. It's also referred to as the GI tract or the digestive tract. So any of those terminologies simply refers to the tube that starts from our mouth, runs through our body, and ends at the anus. And this tube is responsible for digesting the food we eat in order to make accessible the nutrients that we need. So that is going to be our talk for today. And I would just invite you to be quite watchful about gut health, because more and more research is coming out that shows that quite a number of our health issues actually originate in the gut, much more than had been previously thought. So for that reason, gut health is not only for the health of the gut itself, but is also important for our overall health. Of course, the main responsibility of our digestive tract is to digest the food that we eat, but it has other functions that I'm going to mention. The first thing is that the gut has been referred to as the second brain. And this is because it has a rich supply of nerve tissue that links it directly to the brain. And probably this is how we have the saying that I had a gut feeling, or I felt it in my gut, because the connection between the brain with which we think and obtain information through our senses is also very closely connected to our gut. So the alimentary canal or the GI tract, as I've mentioned, all these terms are interchangeable, can be loosely divided into 3 sections. Of course, there can be more sections if we go into further detail. But for our purpose, I'll just mention the 3 that you probably are quite familiar with. We have the upper part, which starts from the mouth and includes the stomach. Then we have the middle part, which is the small intestines. And we have the end part, which is the large intestine, also called the colon, and ends in the rectum and the anus. So each of these 3 sections participates in the digestion of our food in different ways. Just to mention here, one of them is that the wall of the gut itself is supposed to be semi-permeable, meaning that it only allows the properly digested items to pass through, but undigested food should not be able to pass through the gut wall. That is why we refer to it as semi-permeable, because it only allows certain items to pass through. These are the ones which are very small, but larger molecules that are partially digested cannot pass through unless the wall of the gut has problems. It no longer has its integrity. So this wall, the wall of our digestive tract, also contains glands and cells. These glands and cells usually make and secrete the digestive enzymes and the fluids that we need to facilitate digestion. So the fluids and enzymes that are required for the process of digestion usually will come from the walls of the gut itself, the cells that make the walls of the digestive tract, as well as certain glands which are associated with our digestive tract that will then produce either fluids or enzymes or a mix of enzymes and fluids, which flow into the tracts and help with digesting the food. Some of the fluids also that are found in the digestive tract are useful for killing any harmful germs that might enter our stomach with the food that we are eating. Acid, which is the acid that is found in our stomach, is able to kill most of the harmful germs that might enter into our stomach together with our food. And as a by the way, just to say that the stomach is actually supposed to be highly acidic, and that is why it is not a good idea to take antacids when you have heartburn, because that reduces the acidity of the stomach below the normal. And what will then happen is that our stomach will produce even more acid, because it will assume that it is not acid enough. So there are other things that we can do if we have got problems to do with heartburn and such like, but it is not a good idea to keep on taking antacids, because they neutralize the acid in the stomach, and the stomach reacts by producing more acid. That is why they don't work in the long term and can actually cause other problems. So then some of those functions I've mentioned. Then we go on to others. We start with the process of digestion at the mouth. And this is where food is efficiently chewed and broken down so that it can be swallowed. And once it is swallowed, it continues to be churned and broken down by the muscles of our digestive tract by a process called peristalsis, if you might remember your high school biology. And then the next, as I said, is producing the correct enzymes and digestive fluids, as well as hormones, which are responsible for which are produced in response with the food intake. So once we are taking in food, our digestive tract is going to respond by producing these enzymes and fluids that facilitate digestion. Then another function of our digestive tract is that it allows nutrients from fully digested food to be absorbed through the bloodstream, where it can be transported to where it is needed. The other function is that our digestive tract also grows and supports a large population of friendly microbes, which are important for assisting our digestion, supporting our immune system, and also for our mental health. So you can see that our digestive tract has roles to play in far more things than simply digestion. But of course, the major one is digestion, but it will also play a role in supporting our immune system as well as our mental health. Just as another, by the way, point, 70% of the immune cells in our body that fight off unfriendly microbes are actually found in our digestive tract, especially in the colon, which is the large intestine. As I said before, again, the digestive tract communicates with the brain through a rich supply of nerves and nervous tissue, as well as hormones. By so doing, it is going to influence our moods, it is going to influence stress, it is going to influence mental clarity, as well as the provision of energy to our brain. So if you think about it, when we are hungry, we may find that our mind is not very clear, because we have a need for energy to our brain. Sometimes if we are stressed, we may find that our appetite is reduced, or we get indigestion. And all this is because of the close communication between our brain and our digestive tract. So going on to the next section, I wanted to look at how can we have a lifestyle that improves our gut health? And I think this is an important consideration, because as I've said, our gut health is responsible for far more than simply the digestive tract. It has an unhealthy gut has far-reaching effects on our overall health. So, some of the lifestyle habits that can help to improve our gut health will be being in the habit of eating a wide variety of natural or minimally processed food, because they will be rich in fiber, especially soluble fiber. Soluble fiber is what you'll find in fruits such as apples, as well as in various types of leafy vegetables like cabbage and spinach and so on. These soluble fibers are the food that the friendly bacteria live on. These friendly bacteria are essential for our immune system and our overall health. Another lifestyle point is to eliminate sugar and junk food from our diet, as well as reducing factory fats, because these items, bacteria and fungi that can then proliferate. If we are taking a large amount of sugar and junk food in our diet, it helps the harmful microbes to proliferate, and that can then lead to different types of health problems. So in order to give advantage to the helpful microbes in our guts, we then keep down the amount of sugar in our diet and amount of junk food, and focus rather on ensuring we take a variety and a large amount of natural and minimally processed foods. Then another thing we can do to improve the health of our gut is to prioritize adequate sleep. You'll remember we have often said that we need a minimum of 7 hours of sleep every night so as to support good health. Then this means, of course, that if we have a stressful lifestyle, we should attend to the stressors so as to enable us to protect good sleep and rest. Then another point is to increase healthy fats in our diet. This will be fats from good sources such as avocado, things like coconut, olive oil. These are good, and they support health, unlike the factory fats, which actually drive inflammation, which can lead to various health problems. Then another point, the last point I'll make here is reconsider the use of artificial sweeteners. For some people, they may not be harmful, but for certain people, they can have an adverse effect on the friendly microbes in the gut. And so rather than take a chance with it, because you may not know if you're one of the people who has adverse reactions to artificial sweeteners, I think it's better to avoid them altogether and get into the habit of not being too attached to sugar and sweetness, because this is proving to be the driver of quite a number of health problems. So when we speak about overall gut health, we have supplements that we can recommend if maybe you have a familial history of gut problems, or if you have noticed certain problems starting to develop with your digestive system. Then we recommend that you supplement with fiber tablets, especially if you are a person who does not take enough dietary fiber. We also recommend chelated zinc, which helps in the integrity of the gut by helping to heal any ulcers you may be developing, as well as omega-3 salmon oil to deal with inflammation in the gut, and aloe vera plus, which soothes the gut and help in the healing of ulcers. I think we had a very lovely session. I hope you participated in the session on Monday, where we had a testimony about someone who used aloe vera plus to resolve gut issues quite well. So those can be used. If you have acidophilus plus in your market, you can also add it there. And if you do not have acidophilus plus, then what you can do is use some of the fermented foods from your culture, because this is going to increase the population of friendly microbes in your colon. And that, of course, is beneficial for your gut and your overall health. So how can we start to suspect or maybe tell if we have some signs of poor gut health? Because as I said at the beginning, the problems to do with our gut develop over time. Very few of them come on suddenly. they creep up on us little by little. We may notice that we are starting to have certain maybe bloating, attacks of diarrhea, attacks of maybe heartburn, and so on. So it is a good idea not to ignore these signs, but rather to attend to them before they become chronic. Because once they become chronic, they can be difficult to resolve, or they can lead to very many problems that can bring us to serious medical issues. So some of the signs will be, if we notice, okay, I'll speak about problems that are not chronic, first of all. So maybe we get occasional constipation, which starts to be frequent, or we have bouts of diarrhea that are not explained and keep on recurring, or we keep on having a tendency to bloating when we eat different types of food, maybe foods which we did not have problems with before. Now we notice that we get the feeling of bloatedness or gas in our stomach. Then it might be an idea that our gut health is beginning to break down. And so we need to take the measure of adding fiber tablets to our supplementation. Drinking aloe vera plus regularly. We can buy a bottle now and then and drink a small amount, maybe 100 ml every other day or every day, depending on your budget. And if we notice that we have periodic constipation, then we can also add stage 6, which we can take from time to time in conjunction with improving our diet to include those measures that support a good evacuation or passing of stools. And that would be increasing the amount of dietary fiber that we take, soluble fiber, ensuring that we drink enough water, because these are going to help with the lifestyle side. Remember, our supplements always work in hand with a healthy lifestyle in order to bring about a resolution to our health issues. Then another set of problems that can warn us about poor gut health is chronic problems. Now, once we don't attend to those problems when they are periodic, they can become chronic. And this includes things like hemorrhoids. If we do not resolve constipation while it is still on and off, we can then go on to develop hemorrhoids, or we can also develop problems such as ulcers, an inflamed gut, and GERD, which is reflux, the gastrointestinal reflux, where you get, which we commonly call heartburn. So if we notice that this is becoming chronic, then we in fact need to attend to it immediately by including chelated zinc in our supplements. We include also CalMag and aloe vera plus. And of course, with the hemorrhoids, we'll also need to add stage 6, because then it will take time for the hemorrhoids to resolve themselves, since now they have been allowed to develop far beyond the point of constipation. It will be a while before the hemorrhoids are resolved. If the hemorrhoids are very bad, unfortunately, they may need to be surgically removed, or you may need to go to the doctor to suggest certain suppositories or pessaries that can be placed in the anus to assist with the passing of stools. But that is why I mentioned that we should take the lifestyle steps and the supplement steps when we are still in the stage of the problem being on and off, but not chronic. Another area where we can suspect that our gut health is deteriorating is if we have any immune disease. Most of immune diseases actually originate in problems to do with the gut, where the gut wall is becoming too permeable. These can be problems like psoriasis, eczema, which appear on the skin but actually originate from our digestive tract. So with our autoimmune illnesses, we should attend to them by supplementing with Pro-Vitality, Neolife Shake, and vitamin D, especially if we do not get enough sun exposure. Remember that because these days we spend a lot of time indoors because maybe we work indoors for long hours or go to school indoors. The long periods we spend indoors means that we may not get enough sun exposure. And that is why Neolife has got vitamin D supplements, just in case you are in the category of people who do not get adequate sun exposure. Then another sign will be inflammatory skin problems. As I mentioned, for example, eczema and rashes. These can be due to problems in the digestive tract itself, because remember that our digestive tract is continuous with the skin on our surface. So the skin that forms the covering on our body is the same one that forms the wall of the intestinal tract, which means that if something is affecting our gut, it can also show signs on our skin itself. So if we have got inflammatory skin problems, then we should look in our diet if there is something that is driving the inflammation. For example, some of the things that I mentioned before, and we can supplement with omega-3 salmon oil, which helps to resolve inflammation. We can also add vitamin A plus D, which helps with problems like eczema. We can also add chelated zinc that helps with the skin both within us and on the surface. And aloe vera gel can be used to apply on the rashes or the hives or such like skin issues that might be bothering us. Then we need to ensure that our diet does not contain problematic trigger foods or food additives. And if possible, we can add acidophilus or fiber tablets to our supplementation also. Another interesting thing is if we notice that we tend to crave sugary food, or we have a child that craves sugary foods, this can be a warning that the gut is not working correctly, and it may be necessary to check for our blood sugar to see that we are not developing blood sugar issues. And if we notice that there are issues developing there, we should supplement with botanical balance as well as treonine. So this is because the craving of sugar can result from those having a large population of those harmful and friendly bacteria that I was speaking about. They like sugar and they drive us to crave sugar. So if we notice, for instance, that we are always craving sugary things, it could be a useful thing to attack that by reducing any sugar from our diets, and also using botanical balance and treonine from time to time. In addition to that, another thing that we may be developing blood sugar issues is if we notice we are starting to develop recurrent fungal infections like candida. The candida can be attacking the mouth as mouth thrush, or it can be in other parts of the body like between the toes or even in the private parts, where we can notice that we get fungal infections. And these fungal infections also tend to go hand in hand with the poor sugar regulation, which means the craving of sugary foods can actually be a warning to us that things are not okay in our digestive tract. On top of which, sugary foods are very bad for our teeth and can lead to serious dental problems. And maybe when you speak about dental hygiene or oral hygiene, we'll mention the part that it plays in heart problems. So some of the heart problems can actually originate from poor mouth health. So because remember that our digestive tract starts at the mouth. Okay, another warning can come from being intolerant to a wide range of foods. If almost every food you eat tends to cause your stomach to be upset in one way or another, either it causes bloating, or it causes diarrhea, or it causes constipation, so that you have to eat a very limited range of food, then the problem might either be that your gut wall is not producing enough enzymes, or you may be having difficulties as a result of certain food additives that could be affecting your digestive tract. And so it might be a useful thing to examine your diet to see what might be triggering those intolerances. On the Neolife side, you can use flavonoid complex, 3NN, and acidophilus plus or fiber tablets if you have it. As you can see, these 3NN and acidophilus plus and the other supplements I'm mentioning keep on recurring because they are quite important for our digestive tract health. Okay, I'll mention a few more signs of poor gut health. If we have frequent bouts of anxiety and depression, which we do not have ready explanation for, if nothing is actually happening that could be leading us to be anxious or depressed, it could be that there is some nutritional deficiency in our diet. And one of the most common problems is insufficient vitamin B complex in our food. This is especially common with people who are vegetarian or vegans. So if you're a vegetarian or vegans and you start developing some of these mood issues, such as anxiety and depression, it may be time for you to add vitamin B complex, either in a dietary source or from a vitamin B complex supplement from Neolife. Another supplement that will help will be vitamin D, and also aloe vera plus, which helps to deal with low-grade anxiety and depression. So those three can help with resolving bouts of anxiety and depression that might be affecting us. Bad breath can be another sign either of poor dental hygiene, but if our dental hygiene is okay, then the cause of the bad breath could be that the population of bad bacteria is increasing in our digestive tract. And so we should attend to that by using acidophilus to increase the acidophilus or fermented food from our culture, and fiber tablets to feed the friendly microbes so that their numbers can increase, and that way they can attack the bad bacteria that could be at the bottom of bad breath. So if you notice that you have bad breath, but you're brushing your teeth twice a day, and you do not have sugar and unhealthy foods in your diet, then it could be that your gut microbiota is not well balanced. Then the last point I'll mention here, because I see the time is running out, is if we notice that we have chronic fatigue, we are constantly tired, but we also have sleep problems. Again, this could originate from various sources, one of which is poor digestive tract health. And again, we can help this with Neolife supplements such as vitamin B complex, magnesium complex, and aloe vera plus. Magnesium can be very useful for people who struggle to stay asleep. There are people we have different types of sleep problems. Some people struggle to fall asleep. Some people fall asleep easily, but when they wake up, they're not able to fall back asleep. Some people, as I said, may feel very tired, but once they go to bed, they are not actually able to relax and sleep. Magnesium complex is very useful for this. You can take it as a standalone, or you can take it as Calmac. Aloe vera plus is also useful for that, and vitamin B complex can also be helpful. So let me just add there one or two questions that I had related to gut health. The first one was ulcers, someone who is struggling with ulcers, the ulcers in the digestive tract. So the first one can be that if the ulcers are not recurrent, then it would be a good thing to see a doctor, because certain types of ulcers result from certain types of bacteria that can be dealt with using antibiotics. However, if after a treatment with antibiotics, the ulcers keep on recurring, and in this case, it was actually recurrent ulcers, then we recommend a supplement with chelated zinc that helps with the healing of ulcers in the digestive tract. We'll also recommend carotenoid complex and aloe vera plus. And if you have acidophilus plus in your market, you can also add it. On the lifestyle side, avoid trigger foods. If you notice certain foods that cause an aggravation to the pain due to ulcers, opt for a healthier diet, things like healthy fats, because the factory fats can be the ones driving some of these issues. So I think that the remainder of the questions will go in with the Q&A we are going to have next week. So for today, I'm going to stop there, and I will wish you all the best as we go into month end and the issues related to month end. We know that there are various challenges affecting us here in our African continent. And I would like to just continue sympathizing with those who are having these difficulties. And we hope and pray that there will be good resolutions in coming around the corner so that we can continue with our work in making a positive difference in people's lives as we offer our products as well as our business opportunity. So for me now is thank you very much for having spent the time, and let me then hand you over to Pascal, who is standing by for the next session. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you very much, Betty, for that session on gut.